Hey everyone, I think you should learn something new every day. So today we are going to learn more about the individual workspaces in Premiere Pro. Now I've already got a project set up that is going to be able to show you all of the benefits of each of the workspaces. So if we go up to the top here of our Premiere Pro window, we'll see that we have all of these different workspaces. And these workspaces can also be accessed from the menu bar. You just click on the menu bar, go down to Workspaces, and you will see all of your panels and all of the shortcuts to get to each and every one of those panels. So let's start from the beginning. Let's go with Assembly. Assembly is where you get your workspace, your media browser, markers, audio clip mixer, and your libraries. So the perks of the assembly space is when you're importing all of your footage and you need to organize it, because as you can see, I have a lot of clips here. So to really help myself, I would like to organize it, label it, and you know, name these clips different things based on what they might have in them. So let's switch over here to the source monitor. And right now we would be listening to an audio clip. So let's double click on movie 19, and that's got a little clip, right? So go ahead and watch this. And you know, nothing's really going on. It's kind of shaky. You know, not really important. So what we can do is we can go ahead and, instead of renaming it, because that would, you know, we're not going to use it, so there's no reason for us to rename it, we can go ahead and label it brown, you know, and you can develop a system to color code your clips and the colors of the labels, and that way you know, like, oh, this is a brown clip, nothing really good in it. Then you basically just go through all of your clips. Now I already have something set up, so I'm not necessarily going to label all of these, but let's just watch this one real quick. So still not a whole lot going on. So let's go ahead and label this one brown as well. Now I'm going to cheat and see that the first clip that I used was 37, and that's speaking. So what we can do is go down to 37, and we already know that this is useful because we've already used it. So what we can do is we can label this green. It's good to go. And then we can rename it by right-clicking and clicking rename. And let's just call this interview. Easy enough. Hit enter, and that'll actually move you down to the next clip if you already know what you want to name that one, or if not, you can just click out of it. Okay, so now that you know we've got a few clips labeled and we kind of know where we're going with this, let's move on to the next step of the process, which would be editing. And this is also the default workspace that you get loaded into. So consequently, this is where you're going to be spending most of your time. Now, I have done some customizing to this workspace and changed it up a bit because normally there's a lot more going on right here. But these were the three things that I felt were necessary. And then I left this alone. And then we've got program monitor like normal, and then your sequence. So this workspace is your all-around workspace, and it's really helpful for putting together your basic sequence like I have right here, just all the clips that you're going to need, as well as some effects. It's not the best for the effects because that's what the effects panel is for. However, the editing workspace can facilitate that, and then you can fine-tune in the effects. So this is the best for just assembling an edit, putting it together, locking it down, making sure you're happy with what you're seeing on the screen, just like I've done here. So next, we're going to go into the effects. And the effects puts all of your effects on the right-hand side, clear as day, super easy, so that way you're not trying to search through them in a small window that you get in the editing. And it also makes your project workspace a lot smaller because you would move on to the effects step after you've locked in your edit. So you probably don't need all of your clips or need to search through them all in order to find them. Once you get all of your effects and your transitions and you know what you want to do, then you search through them. You can search here, so cross dissolve. You throw a cross dissolve, or you can just go into video transitions, and you've got all of these. The dissolves are the most common, and that's usually just a fade in, fade out. If you've got a long fade, depending on what you're working on, that's got all that you'll need, and it'll be right there and super easy to put together. Next, we're going to cover the audio panel. The audio panel is great for mixing audio and mixing different sound effects and adding all of your different tracks and sound effects. So if you come up here and go to your track mixer, which is different, I might add, than the clip mixer. The audio track mixer is where you can add effects to an entire track, so track 1, track 2, track 3. And you just click up here and you've got all these effects that you can choose from, and you can organize them however you want. You can also go over to the effects on the left hand side and click on the audio effects and the audio transitions and add all the effects that you need to get your sound effects, your dialogue, your audio sounding the way you want it. Now, something super cool with the latest releases of Adobe Premiere Pro is the Essential Sound panel. So when you click on a piece of audio, you can label it. Now this is a pre-mixed track, so it has dialogue and music, but we can run through all of these for you. So dialogue will give you all of these options, so you can repair it, reduce the noise if you've got any issues with noise in the background. You can auto match, so this will bump up the volume. You can add some clarity. You can even put an EQ on it, and all these preset EQs will do exactly as they're advertised. Then you've got enhanced speech, which can help male or female sound better and more clear. And then for the creative, you've got reverb. So if you want to make them sound like they're in a large reflective room or in a church or in an auditorium, this is where you would add that. And then you can also adjust the amount at which that happens. And then at the very bottom, you've got the basic clip volume. So we can go ahead and clear the audio type, and I'll walk you through the music. Now the music, there's not as much you can do in this. You can just auto match it or change the duration. However, in Adobe Audition, you have a lot more options and a lot more that you can do, because Audition is specifically an audio mixing app. So let's go ahead and clear this audio type and look at the sound effects. So this would be like your hits, your risers, explosions, whatever you got going on. You can add reverb, so if you've got an explosion that happens in a hallway or a big auditorium, you would add that heavy reverb and choose the amount at which you want that to happen. Say you've got a car going by as well. You can pan from left to right like the car is driving by in a stereo setting, as well as the loudness and the clip volume. And then clear that audio type, and for the last, we're going to go over the ambience. And so this would be like your natural sound that your microphone may not be able to pick up, but say you have that sound effect. So for this piece, because it's outside on a river in the snow time, I'd probably do like a little bit of trickling water, but not that much, because it is winter time. Some of the river is frozen, so maybe we could do some light ice falling into the water maybe, but you would just choose the sort of sound that you want to go with that, and then add that reverb, the wind effect, the room ambiance, and then choose how much you want it to fill that stereo sound by increasing or decreasing it. And then, of course, you've got your loudness and your clip volume. So next, we're going to go over the graphics panel. Now, it should be noted that the graphics and the titles panel are essentially the same. I believe there's a few differences, but there's not a whole lot. So with the graphics panel, it's something that I believe they introduced in 2017 with Premiere Pro, and that's the Essential Graphics panel. And you've got all of these different folders of pre-made things that Adobe has made for you, so graphic overlays. And these are all pre-made effects with animations that Adobe has made that you can add into your project simply by dragging and dropping it onto your timeline, and then you can just watch it. And it's all the way up there in the little tiny corner.
A really big sense of collaboration amongst artists in the community.
So when you put this effect into the timeline, you get this window over here, which is all of the things that you can edit. So you can change the line, upper, the bottom line, and then the text itself. Then you come over here to your tools, click the type tool, and then that will allow you to change the text. So coming up, change it to now. And then you can change the size, the color, shadow, stroke, and all of these preset effects that you are allowed to change based on this template. But we don't need that, so we'll just go ahead and delete that and go back to browse, choose this, and that way you can see all of the folders. And what you'll see is I've also made these basic titles as well. And these are something that you can create in After Effects yourself if you are capable of creating something in After Effects, or if you download an After Effects template, you can save it to the essential graphics and it'll show up right here ready for you to use. So the next workspace is the libraries. In the libraries, you can see it has a similar look to the assembly page, except for this right here. This has access assets anywhere. And this is something that Adobe offers, which is sort of like dynamic link, but it kind of keeps it in the cloud. And to show you what I mean, I'm gonna go over here to Photoshop. And I have this logo. I know it's kind of hard to see, but you'll see it in a minute. I have this logo that is for the project that I'm working on. So if we go ahead and select that whole thing, drag it and drop it into there, it will copy it. I'm gonna go back to Premiere, and boom, that graphic is right there. I can drag it, I can drop it, and it'll be right in my project. And because it is a title, probably want to put it on the end here, and there we go. So you probably scale it up, but that's how that libraries panel works. So if you create something in Photoshop, or if you create something in Illustrator, or even After Effects, you can put it into the library and it will be right there, ready for you to go. So finally, the last tab we're going to go over is the color tab and the color workspace. And this is a nice workspace because it allows you to color correct and color grade very easily, because before you would have to go into your effects panel right here and search for Lumetri color. Scroll all the way down here and add it from the color correction folder. And all of that I scrolled through was all of the effects and presets and LUTs that you can put on your video that are already built into Premiere. So now with this Lumetri color panel, all I have to do is select a clip, and you can add a preset and really give your video the look that you're going for, and it'll really give it a nice finish, polish to the whole project. So once you have all of your color correction, all of your effects, all of your edit ready to go, it's all done, you can go ahead, put those in and out markers in, hit Control M, and you are ready to export. Call it whatever you need to call it. Put it into your workspace, save it there, hit that export button, and you are ready to go. And now that you're familiar with all of the workspaces in Premiere, I want to thank you for learning with me, and be sure to comment, like, and subscribe so you can always learn something new.